I just know him as a person against our son. It's demonic, bro. It's demonic, bro. It's demonic, bro. Like, he's so disrespectful when it comes to our son. It's disgusting, bro. And I'm answering the phone. I'm saying I love you. I'm going to be honest, bro. That's out of fear. It's cool. I got my people looking at you. I don't know where you're going to station. Is that right?
Excuse me, sir. What are you guys arresting her for?
A whole other charge.
A warrant out for what?
Sorry?
A warrant for what, sir?
There's a warrant for her. Right. You gonna record me the whole way?
The whole way, beautiful.
Why?
Fans' concerns are only growing louder, and it's honestly heartbreaking to watch. For many, that moment at the event confirmed what they had suspected all along. Something is seriously wrong, and Chrisean is doing everything except facing the truth. Even Blueface's own mother, Carissa, has stepped up and placed the blame squarely on Chrisean for what's happening with Junior. The calls for accountability are only getting stronger. People across social media are now demanding answers, and many are asking how Chrisean hasn't been held responsible for her actions. The pressure is mounting, and fans are no longer staying silent. The situation has reached a breaking point, and many are wondering how Chrisean hasn't been held accountable for what they see as clear neglect. How is she not locked up for the way she's treated Junior? People are questioning the state's role in allowing her to carry on like this. Accusations are flying that Chrisean is actively avoiding CPS while continuing to deflect blame. Fans are pointing out disturbing signs in Junior's development, his difficulty making eye contact, his lack of acknowledgement of others, and the fact that he still isn't walking at his age. They argue that these issues could have been avoided if Chrisean had taken her pregnancy seriously. One user even went as far as to say that Junior never had a chance, due to how she treated him even before he was born. While painful, these comments aren't disappearing anytime soon. But the real twist came when rumors started circulating that Blueface, despite being locked up, might have taken matters into his own hands. Allegedly, he made an official call to CPS reporting Chrisean for child endangerment. Even from behind bars, it seems he filed a report that's now triggered a serious investigation into Chrisean's care of Junior. This unexpected move has only added fuel to the already raging fire, and now an official inquiry into the situation is underway. This situation has certainly spiraled into something bigger than just internet chatter, and it's sparking serious discussions about responsibility and accountability. As for Blueface, there's no denying that many people see his actions as driven by spite rather than genuine concern for Junior. The idea that he's using CPS as a weapon to get back at Chrisean, especially after she moved on, is tough to ignore. On the other hand, some might argue that regardless of his motives, it's hard to overlook the fact that there's a child who might not be getting the proper care he needs, and if Blueface's actions lead to a necessary investigation, it could force Chrisean to face the consequences of her neglect, if that's the case. As for Chrisean, if these neglect claims hold any truth, there's no question that she should be held responsible. A child's well-being should always come first, and when a parent fails in that duty, they should face the consequences, no matter the circumstances. At the end of the day, the real victim here is Junior, who's stuck in the middle of this toxic back and forth between his parents. Hopefully, whatever happens, his future gets the attention and care he deserves. But what do you think? Is Blueface just stirring the pot out of spite? Or is he actually taking the right steps for Junior's sake? Should Chrisean be held accountable for the alleged neglect, or is she simply a victim of her own chaotic circumstances? So the moment that video hit the internet, everyone knew Blueface was about to start wilding out, even from a jail cell, and sure enough, he did not hold back. Let us not forget, he and Chrisean actually tied the knot behind bars last December, courthouse style, in one of the most unexpected jailhouse weddings we have seen in a while. But somehow, despite being locked up, Blueface still found a way to stir up drama. He went ahead and posted a clip of one of his side chicks. Yes, while still married to Chrisean. It is chaos at its finest. A whole tangled situation that proves even steel bars cannot stop him from keeping the scandal alive. So my name is
Amani, and me and Blue been locked in since 2016, 17, and We met at work. We were shooting together and we fell in love. No, no, but for real, like we just kept looking at each other, kept making eye contact, and then we exchanged contacts, and we was chopping it up for a cool minute. And then I came over, chefed it up, made some steak, mashed potatoes, asparagus. I ate it up. And of course I came with dessert that I ate that up. And then, yeah, we took a bath, cleaned ourselves up, a bubble bath with bath bombs, you know. It was a 5-star setup. And then, yeah, history. Thing.
Even with other women in the picture, Blueface still could not handle it when Chrisean tried to move on. The second she showed off her new man, he allegedly snapped, once again pulling their son Junior into the mess and turning personal heartbreak into public drama.
Like, why are you doing this to our son? Like, all right, remember the last year, 2 years ago, he dropped a diss, I dropped a diss, he posted my son on Twitter. He just can't handle when I put my foot down, bro. Paige, it was like one of these girls. She mentioned my son, right? He posts it on his story. I'm not even mad at the female. I just know him as a person against our son. It's demonic, bro. It's demonic, bro. It's demonic, bro. Like, he's so disrespectful when it comes to our son. It's disgusting, bro. Yeah, I love him. I'm riding for him. But I know his character traits, bro. I know his patterns, bro. Soon as we beef, he hurt our kid, and it's so evil. So I need y'all to just let him know our son is off limits while we're not seeing eye to eye, please.
Chrisean says Blueface is not just being messy. He is using their baby as a weapon to hurt her, and the way he does it feels more petty than protective. But let us be honest, this kind of behavior is nothing new when it comes to how he has treated Junior. From the very beginning, back when Chrisean first revealed she was pregnant, Blueface was not supportive. He did not offer kind words or even acknowledgement. Instead, within hours of her public announcement, he jumped online and denied the baby was his. Like clockwork, he tweeted that he and Chrisean were officially over, calling it strictly business and claiming he had already tried, but it was not working. He even hinted that she was with someone else before the pregnancy, casting doubt before the child even had a chance. That is not my baby. Rock been with 10 dudes this year. Until I see a DNA test, it is not a Blueface baby. With that one explosive line, Blueface lit up the internet and sent the drama spiraling. What followed was chaos on repeat. One moment, they were trading insults. The next, they were dropping love songs and flashing wedding rings like nothing ever happened. But when it came to their child, Chrisean eventually had enough. She took the test, settled the speculation, and let the truth speak for itself. The results left no room for doubt. Junior is Blueface's biological son. Clear, final, done. And just like that, all his public denials and Twitter rants were drowned out by cold, hard proof. Still, even with the truth out in the open, Blueface has not stepped up. Instead of showing steady love to his son, he continues to use Junior as a tool in his ongoing battles with Chrisean. And now, even from a prison cell, he is cranking the tension up to a whole new level. So after the DNA results confirmed that Blueface was indeed the father, you'd think he'd take a step back and finally act like a responsible adult. You'd think it would be a wake-up call to get his act together and be there for his son, right? But nope, Blueface didn't flinch. In fact, instead of taking responsibility, the confirmation seemed to fuel his reckless behavior even more. Rather than stepping up, he doubled down, making it clear he wanted nothing to do with his child, now or ever. There was no "I'm going." To do better. No signs of love or support for Junior. Instead, behind the scenes, he was sending Chrisean cold messages, showing just how little he cared despite the truth being laid out in front of him. Blueface's messages to Chrisean were nothing short of brutal. He straight up told her that having the baby would ruin her life. One of his messages was along the lines of, "You don't want to be tied down with a baby while I'm out with other girls," followed by, "I'm not changing who I am, I'm still going to cheat. I'm still going to live how I want. You don't want to be stuck with someone like me." Imagine being pregnant with his child and hearing that. No support, no loyalty, not even a shred of honesty. When Chrisean decided to keep the baby, anyway, Blueface snapped. He ran straight to Twitter, posting a messy thread that left everyone stunned. He refused to pay child support, claiming he'd told her from the start he didn't want the baby. Then he accused her of forcing it on him, saying she was just trying to trap him. His words were beyond harsh. She still got time to end it. "I told her I didn't want no..." Blueface continued to double down on his refusal to claim his son, even after the baby was born. Despite the world seeing him hold Junior, he still couldn't bring himself to show pride or acceptance. Instead, he started questioning the DNA test, acting like something about the entire situation felt off. "That test didn't seem right. I wasn't even in control of it. Something felt weird from the jump," he claimed. Then, as if to shift blame, he pointed fingers at another guy, suggesting that the baby looked more like him than Blueface. At one point, he even said, "I only got 2 kids with 1 baby mama. That's it. I'm not adding anything else unless I get proof. Until then, I'm free. This just made my whole year." But things took an even darker turn as time went on. Fans started noticing red flags they couldn't ignore. Little Junior wasn't developing like other babies his age. The crying, the movements, the way he responded. It was clear something wasn't quite right. People could tell there was more going on than what was being shown. While the concern for Junior's health and development grew, Blueface continued to fuel drama instead of stepping up as a father. Instead of focusing on his son, he stayed online, using the situation to take jabs at Chrisean. The baby, caught in the middle of their endless back and forth, became the focal point not just for internet gossip, but genuine concern from real people who saw an innocent child stuck in a toxic situation. As whispers started circulating about Junior potentially facing developmental delays, Blueface quickly jumped on the bandwagon, but not in a supportive way. Rather than showing any empathy or offering help like a father should, he took the opportunity to publicly blast Chrisean. He aired private details without hesitation, turning their family's struggles into a public spectacle. On Twitter, he went all in, accusing her of being reckless during her pregnancy and claiming that her behavior was the reason for their son's possible struggles. One of his wild tweets read, "She smoked," leaving little to the imagination as he pointed, the finger fueling even more controversy. Blueface didn't hold back. He claimed Chrisean smoked a blunt on the way to the hospital, even while in labor, and continued smoking until she gave birth. He didn't stop there, saying, "You really think I can't take custody? I didn't want to, but if she keeps slipping, I'm going to have to do what's best." Then he went even further, stating his son wasn't born healthy because, in his words, Chrisean drank, smoked, and got into fights throughout her entire pregnancy. He added that she couldn't even take 1 month to chill. Just when it seemed like it couldn't get any worse, Blueface shared personal medical details about Junior, revealing the baby had a hernia that Chrisean hadn't treated yet. But that wasn't the worst part. He crossed a major line by posting a private medical image of the baby, captioning it with, "This is what my son looked like, and she's worried about me and Lil Baby. Fix your kid first." Fans were horrified, not just by the invasion of privacy, but by the fact that he thought it was acceptable. When people criticized him for it, Blueface snapped back saying, "It's my son. I can post whatever I want. Who's going to stop me?" Blueface wasn't done yet. He went on a lengthy rant saying, "The baby still hasn't had the surgery. She's out here lying, saying he's healthy while constantly talking about me. Fix our son first, then worry about your next man." He even tried to rally the internet to his side, urging people to tag Chrisean in his post, hoping it would pressure her into acting. Then, he accused her of using drugs again, tweeting, "I tried to keep it low, but she keeps pushing me. You're not fit to be a mom, missing appointments and pushing surgeries back just to go out and party." According to Blueface, he flew to Baltimore for what he thought was Junior's surgery, only to find out the appointment had been missed. But Chrisean wasn't having it. She fired back, denying all of his accusations. She said, "He knows the appointment is scheduled with the surgeon already. I've been going to every checkup in Baltimore. Don't play with me like I'm not showing up. You're trying to use this situation just to get my kid taken from me. I'm doing my best." Chrisean didn't stop there. She told Blueface to focus on his own legal issues, reminding him that he still had a serious case looming over his head and that his probation officer was working to lock him up. Despite all the back and forth, the fans were starting to pay closer attention, and many were beginning to see through the chaos. Then, Chrisean started shifting her public image, seemingly attempting to rebrand herself. She began posting as though she was cutting ties with Blueface, acting like she was done for real this time. But the internet wasn't buying it so easily. People pointed out that every time she got caught up in a mess, she would shift the blame. Now, she was trying to convince everyone she was trapped in some sort of soul tie with Blueface, as if that was the reason she couldn't move on. There was a moment on social media when she started speaking as if she was finally ready to heal and turn her life around, claiming that having Junior gave her a second chance at life. She even posted a message that had fans thinking, maybe, just maybe, she was about to turn over a new leaf. In her own words, Chrisean declared, "I don't want to be Rock no more. I don't want to be famous. I messed up. I should have stayed in school." It was clear she was trying to distance herself from all the past drama and heartbreak, focusing on the one thing she claimed she'd always prayed for, her child. She kept repeating that she wasn't going to let fear control her life anymore. She was ready to move on, to let go, and to detach from anything that no longer brought her peace. She said, "Having a child won't stop me from getting my bag. It won't stop me from learning, loving, or putting time into myself. I don't need $1 from anybody to take care of this child. I'm blessed and highly favored. That's all that matters right now." To top it all off, she told her followers, she was ready to document her journey, the ups and the downs, and was determined to win through it all. Then she dropped the bombshell. She was cutting Blueface off for good. She said telling him no that day was her first step toward freedom, but it didn't stop there. She opened up about the struggle it was to fully detach, making it clear that breaking free from the past was harder than she ever expected. Chrisean struggled with the idea of cutting ties, questioning, how do you cut off a soul tie? She admitted that, despite her efforts, it still felt like she was giving a piece of herself to a man who clearly didn't want to be involved in their child's life. In one post, she shared her inner turmoil, writing, "This man texted me today and I almost fell for it. Like, what am I even doing right now?" But then she looked at Junior and reality hit her. She snapped herself back into focus, saying, "Cut the selfish, immature mess out. You're somebody's mama now." With that moment of clarity, she sent a sharp message to Blueface, telling him to stop calling and texting her and to find someone else to bother. She called out his behavior as unsafe and dirty, warning him to be careful before he ended up with something he couldn't escape. It was a raw, emotional plea that had fans believing she was finally waking up and putting her son first. But just as it seemed like Chrisean was taking the right steps, things started to take another turn, and not in a positive direction. The speculation surrounding Junior's health intensified, and the whispers grew louder. Things took a darker turn after that Instagram live in January, the one where Chrisean defended tattooing Blueface's mugshot across her face. While people were already raising eyebrows over that, what really caught everyone's attention was the sound of Junior crying in the background. But this wasn't the usual baby cry. There was something unsettling about it, something that didn't quite match the typical cry of an infant. Fans immediately started questioning if there was something more serious going on, and that concern only deepened as the crying continued. The chaotic moment left fans deeply worried, not just about the crying, but about what it might be indicating. Perhaps Junior was dealing with something far more serious than Christian had let on. However, instead of addressing those concerns, she seemed to be avoiding the situation, and her relationship with Blueface remained rocky, back and forth as usual. But as time went on, fans started noticing something even more concerning: Junior's behavior in videos. It wasn't just about delayed crying anymore. People began pointing out that he might be struggling with vision issues. In several clips, Junior could be seen staring into space, almost unresponsive to his surroundings, raising alarms about his health that Christian still wasn't addressing. Instead of addressing the growing concerns about Junior's well-being, Christian quickly turned to Instagram Live, getting defensive and insisting that her baby was perfectly fine. She brushed off the worries, claiming people were simply being nosy or negative for no reason. She even went as far as to say that Junior would be doing everything, talking, walking, and playing football, proving he was just fine. In a heated rant, she challenged anyone questioning his health, saying, "Who are y'all to tell me what he's diagnosed with or what he looks like or sounds like? Y'all don't know nothing about God, and you don't know nothing about nothing. Don't talk to me like that." She then rebuked the negativity, trying to dismiss the concerns by saying that everything people were saying about her child was false. Despite her strong words, many viewers weren't convinced, feeling that instead of addressing the issue head-on, she was only deflecting, choosing to silence criticism rather than seriously consider the situation. From the outside, it was starting to look like Chrisean might be in denial about Junior's situation, and unfortunately, things took an even darker turn when his first birthday came around. The signs were harder to ignore. At his birthday party, it became obvious to many that Junior wasn't walking or even standing on his own. Chrisean tried to make it seem like he was upright by holding him with her legs and positioning him for the cameras, but it was clear to viewers that she was trying to cover up what was really happening. People weren't fooled by the staged moments. Now, it's important to remember that not every child walks by their first birthday. Some take their time, and that's completely normal. But when you add the lack of eye contact, the stiff body posture, the strange crying sounds, and all the other signs that have been pointed out over time, it's understandable why fans began seeing this as a major red flag. But the biggest shock came when one of Chrisean's former friends, Janet, stepped into the conversation and dropped some major bombshells. She revealed that Chrisean wasn't just ignoring these signs, she was actively blocking help and support, making it even clearer that something wasn't right. According to Janet, Chrisean had actively prevented people from helping Junior. She even tried to get him medical care, but Chrisean shut it down completely. What's even more troubling is that, months after that birthday party, Chrisean still hasn't taken steps to get Junior properly evaluated. At a recent event, she was seen carrying him on her hip, and once again, people noticed the same concerning signs. Even though he's getting close to 2 years old, Junior could barely hold his head steady, and that's not something you can just ignore. Fans' concerns are only growing louder, and it's honestly heartbreaking to watch. For many, that moment at the event confirmed what they had suspected all along. Something is seriously wrong, and Chrisean is doing everything except facing the truth. Even Blueface's own mother, Carissa, has stepped up and placed the blame squarely on Chrisean for what's happening with Junior. The calls for accountability are only getting stronger. People across social media are now demanding answers, and many are asking how Chrisean hasn't been held responsible for her actions. The pressure is mounting, and fans are no longer staying silent. The situation has reached a breaking point, and many are wondering how Chrisean hasn't been held accountable for what they see as clear neglect. How is she not locked up for the way she's treated Junior? People are questioning the state's role in allowing her to carry on like this. Accusations are flying that Chrisean is actively avoiding CPS while continuing to deflect blame. Fans are pointing out disturbing signs in Junior's development: his difficulty making eye contact, his lack of acknowledgement of others, and the fact that he still isn't walking at his age. They argue that these issues could have been avoided if Chrisean had taken her pregnancy seriously. One user even went as far as to say that Junior never had a chance due to how she treated him even before he was born. While painful, these comments aren't disappearing anytime soon. But the real twist came when rumors started circulating that Blueface, despite being locked up, might have taken matters into his own hands. Allegedly, he made an official call to CPS, reporting Chrisean for child endangerment. Even from behind bars, it seems he filed a report that's now triggered a serious investigation into Chrisean's care of Junior. This unexpected move has only added fuel to the already raging fire, and now an official inquiry into the situation is underway. This situation has certainly spiraled into something bigger than just internet chatter, and it's sparking serious discussions about responsibility and accountability. As for Blueface, there's no denying that many people see his actions as driven by spite, rather than genuine concern for Junior. The idea that he's using CPS as a weapon to get back at Chrisean, especially after she moved on, is tough to ignore. On the other hand, some might argue that regardless of his motives, it's hard to overlook the fact that there's a child who might not be getting the proper care he needs. And if Blueface's actions lead to a necessary investigation, it could Force Christian to face the consequences of her neglect, if that's the case. As for Christian, if these neglect claims hold any truth, there's no question that she should be held responsible. A child's well-being should always come first, and when a parent fails in that duty, they should face the consequences, no matter the circumstances. At the end of the day, the real victim here is Junior, who's stuck in the middle of this, toxic back and forth between his parents. Hopefully, whatever happens, his future gets the attention and care he deserves. But what do you think? Is Blueface just stirring the pot out of spite? Or is he actually taking the right steps for Junior's sake? Should Christian be held accountable for the alleged neglect? Or is she simply a victim of her own chaotic circumstances?